Lunatone, Psychic, 80 damage, basic Pokemon. Ability Soul Shade, as long as you have Solk in play. Each player's fire Pokemon has no abilities. This ability would be okay if it would say any Pokemon. But first of all, it excludes GX and EX. And second of all, only applies to fire Pokemon. So, no. Let's just move on. Attack doesn't even matter. Just flip a coin, heads, paralyzed, whatever. Solrock, 90 HP, ability Sunbeam. The maximum HP for each of your Lunatone you have in play is 130. And Scorched Light, flip a coin. If your heads, your Pokemon is not burned. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is not burned. Oh, first was paralyzed. Yeah, this combination of cards would be pretty decent if it would block any ability and not just fire Pokemon abilities. So let's just move on. Next is Sharphead. Perplexed. Your opponent's Pokemon is not confused. Yeah, whatever. Colorless. Headbutt, 10 damage. Psychic Colorless. Will-O-Wisp, 20 damage. Also bad. But now we get to two of my favorite cards from the set, which are the two Bannettes, Bannett and Bannett GX. First of all, we have Bannett. Ability, Red Eyes. When you play this card from your hand to with a Pokemon during your turn, you may play a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile on the bench. It's very good if you want to just KO something, like a cheap GX or something. And Psychic Colors, enemy show, count the number of Pokemon, number of your opponent's Pokemon in play, put the 20 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. It's pretty decent. And now one of my favorite cards, Bannett GX. First of all, ability Shady Move. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is active Pokemon, you may move one damage counter from either player's Pokemon to another Pokemon. So you can move from your field to opponent's field, which is pretty nice. Then for one Psychic, Shadow Chant, 30 damage, so the deck does 10 more damage for each supporter card in your discard pile. You can't add more than 1 damage this way, so you want to deal 130 with the attack for 1 Psych energy, which is pretty good. And then your GX deck is Tomb Hunter GX, put 3 cards from your discard pile into your hand, which is basically the Sidra. So yeah, I really like the cards. Just a yeah, very nicely looking pretty good card. I really like it. Next up, we have a lot of Deoxys. First of all, we have for 2 colorless Psychic, 20 damage. This deck does 20 damage more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So yeah, not too good. Power Blast, discard energy from this Pokemon. 3 energies, 120 damage. Also not that good. Next Deoxys, Reflect. During opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 40 less damage from attacks. And second attack also for 3 energies, 80 damage. The damage isn't affected by resistance, also pretty bad. Next Deoxys is a Teleport Break, 20 damage. You may switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Yeah, also pretty bad. And then Colorless, Spear Drive. This deck does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This deck damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. Yeah, they're all pretty bad. Next, Lunala, stage 2. It was from Cosmoem. Ability Shadow Shield. If this Pokemon has a Psychic Energy attached to it, it takes 20 less damage from attack. And for 3 Psychic Energies, Full Moon Ray, 80 damage. The attack damage is 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. In like, because of the cards that were released, most of my most of the time I look at Lunala or Solgaleo. I think that they are basics, but yeah, this actually isn't a basic, which makes the card even worse. So yeah, this card is not good. Next up, Onyx. Screech. During your next turn, if any attack damages the defending Pokemon, this attack does 20 more damage to the defending Pokemon. Wait, what? Oh. Well, that's bad. For 2 fighting, 10 plus damage, this attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. No, that's just bad. Maybe Celix is good. Now we actually get to, like, artwork-wise, my favorite cards of the set. Like, I really like the Fanpiece and the Lavitas. Like, not the Fanpy, but the Fanpy lineup and the Lavita line. Because they have the old school, old gold and silver kind of artworks. Or in the TCG, like Neo. I really like them. So, yeah, but Fanpy tackle 10 damage for 1 colorless, and then for 1 fighting, endure, flip a coin. If it's during your opponent's next turn, if this opponent would be knocked out by an attack, this opponent is knocked out. That's okay. That's a pretty okay attack if you want to protect your Fenpy. And then Donphan evolves from Fenpy, obviously. Flail, 10 damage. The attack does damage for times the number of damage counts on this Pokemon. So synergy with Endure, so it's pretty okay. And yeah, Rapid Spin for 3 energies, 50 damage to this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Then your opponent switches the active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. I mean, let's just face it, it's just the worst Donphan from... Where was it? Furious Fist? Was it Furious Fist? No, it was Plasma Storm, right? But it got the support in Furious Fists, yeah. You know which Donphan I'm talking about. The one that's pretty decent, still expanded. So yeah, that's pretty sad, because I would have liked to see the card being good. Then Lavita, Leah, flip a coin. If it's the active bonus, paralyzed. Okay. And for 2 energies, rock throw, 20 damage. Yeah, whatever. Pupitar, fighting, 80 HP. Evolves from Lavita. 2 colorless, Gullbash, 20 damage. And 2 fighting, Dust Devil. This attack does 20 damage for each Pokemon in play that isn't fighting. No. I mean, maybe if Tyranitar is good, you could make something work with like Celebi or something, like the Shining Celebi, that you can use this attack with Tyranitar, because the attack on its own is pretty decent, because it just spreads. But for 2 energies on 80 HP, basically it just gets KO'd by Lele. Doesn't make any sense. But maybe Tyranitar makes it work. We will see later. Meditite. 1 fighting energy, bite, flip a coin, fetch this Pokemon would be knocked out. So basically the same as Funpy. Medicham. Enlightened Strike, 10 plus damage. If this Pokemon's HP is 30 or less, this deck does 160 more damage. The problem with cards like this is always your opponent is not going to play into it, because if you... I mean, let's take a look at the second attack so it becomes even more clear. It's fighting, spinning attack, 90 damage. This Pokemon does 30 damage to itself, so theoretically, you could set up your own first attack by using the attack twice, but if you don't use your second attack, your opponent is not going to attack into your Medicham. Or, I mean, of course, unless they KO it. But if you use the second attack, they can just KO it so much more easy, because you go down to 60 HP, so your opponent just attaches the DC to a Lele KOs you. So this card is pretty bad. Baltoy, double for 2 colorless, Cyball, 20 damage, flip a coin, fets your opponent for paralyzed. Yeah, we've seen this attack time and time again. Flip a coin, fets paralyzed. Then Claydol evolves from Baltoy, 2 colorless, 20 damage, flip a coin, if your opponent's active Pokemon is not paralyzed. As I said, we've seen this. Wait, there's something wrong. Okay, I mean the text. Okay, the text is the same, but they forgot to change the energy cost. But this is the same attack, but just for 1 energy. And then 2 colorless, 1 fighting, where you can spin 40 damage. This attack does 40 damage times the number of Steven's decision. I'm not even going to talk about this card. So next up is going to be Regirock. For 1 fighting, enhanced Stomp, 20 damage. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached to it, this does 20 more damage. Okay. Hammer Arm, 100 damage. Discard the top card from your opponent's deck. No. Groudon, for 1 fighting, 2 colorless, rake, 50 damage. If there's a stadium card in play, this deck does 50 more damage. Discard a stadium card. No. 2 fighting, 2 colorless, ground stage, 130 damage. Discard 1 energy from this Pokemon. Also no. So quite a few bad cards in a row. Maybe Palossand GX can make the difference. Evolves from Sandygast, obviously, which isn't here. I hope you find it later, because it would be pretty weird to not have Sandygast in the set, but it might just be Psychic or whatever. Yeah, Eerie Light, 60 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Life Absorb, 100 damage, heal 20 damage from this Pokemon. And then Sandfear GX, 60 damage. Look at the top 13 cards of your opponent's deck. Discard as many Pokemon you find as you like. This deck does 60 damage for each Pokemon you discarded. Your opponent shuffles the remaining cards back into the deck. This card would be insane. This attack would be insane if it wouldn't shuffle every non-Pokemon back in the deck. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun card, but it's not very good. Meteor, ability Starfall once during your turn. This card is in your hand and you have room on your bench. You may play this card as your active Pokemon and move your old active Pokemon on the bench. Interesting. Attack is swift, 30 damage. This attack damage isn't affected by weakness, resistance, or any other effects. This ability is so funny or cool, but then the attack is super bad. I don't know. No. Then Alolan Rattata for 0 energies. Call the boss. Search your deck for an Alolan Raticate, reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Classic Search Evolution. Then Alolan Raticate, throw away 40 times damage, discard up to 2 cards from your hand. This attack does 40 damage for each card you discard in that way. So you deal 80 for 0 energies, which is okay, especially with Choice Band, you can deal 110. So it's okay. For 1 darkness, 2 colorless, Hyper Fang, 150 damage, flip a coin if the tails. What? Why would you put an attack like this on a GX? What? Okay. Card immediately got so much worse. Then item miner GX, search your deck for up to 6 item cards, reveal and put them in your hand. I mean, in the first attack made me like hope that Alolan Raticate is gonna be like a cheap early game attacker with something good for the late game, but the second attacks are just super horrible. Yeah, next up, Sneasel. For 1 colorless, Furious Rise, 10 damage, flip 3 coins. If this attack does 10 damage, 10 more fats. And for 2 dark, beat up, flip a coin for each Pokemon you have in play. This attack does 30 damage, 10 more fats. Old school Weavile, but has to flip and needs 2 darkness, so pretty bad. Remember, this card used to be banned, so power creep says hi. Tyranitar, 3 colorless, 60 damage, flip 2 coins. This attack does 60 damage, 10 more fats. Bad. For 2 darkness, 2 colorless. Trample, 120 damage for each bench Pokemon in play. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 60 damage to that Pokemon. This is interesting, especially if you have something like Mr. Mime in play, but just requires you to attach so many energies to Tyranitar. If it would be Darkness colorless, Darkness colorless, that card would actually be pretty decent, but as it's now, it's just way too heavy energy cost. Then Sableye, Excavate, once during your turn, you may look at the top card of your deck, put that card on top of your deck, or discard that card. It's okay. Maybe a little bit too slow for the current format. And disable 10 damage to one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attack. This Pokemon can't use that attack during your opponent's next turn. It's a pretty okay card. Might see play in like some stall decks, or maybe as a tag card against certain decks. It's definitely okay. Now we have Steelix. Evolves from Onix. Tackle, 30 damage. For 2 colors, pretty bad. For 1 metal and 2 colorless, Tail Crush, 80 damage. Plus flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 40 more damage. So that's just a very bad stage 1. Now we have Scizor. Keep in mind, we have the Cypher that searches Cypher from the deck. Ability Danger Perception. As long as this Pokemon's remaining HP is 1 or less, this Pokemon's attack do 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's okay. For Metal Cull, the Steel Ring, 80 damage to your opponent's next turn. Any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 30. Also pretty okay. For 3 colorless, Crosscut GX, 100 damage. If you want active Pokemon in your Wolf Pokemon, this attack does 100 more damage. This card is actually pretty okay. I mean, the ability, of course, situational, but the attack's pretty decent. It's, of course, not like one of the super hot top picks from the set, but it's an okay card. It's definitely okay. Next up, Mawile. 1 colorless, mining. Search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. If the card is a Pokemon tool card, you may attach to one of your Pokemon instead. Then shuffle your deck. This card would have been pretty good in Garb decks, because you could just bench it and then grab your Floatstone for your Garb. Not pretty good, but would be a fun card in Garb decks, but now it's just... nah. And Metal Card is bite off 20 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon GX or EX, this deck does 30 more damage. No, it's not that good. Beldam, 60 HP, ability, conductive body. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, it retreat causes one card is set for each Beldam on your bench. Pretty okay Beldam, if there's a good Metagross. Yeah, next Beldam, 2 colorless, single smash, 50 damage, flip a coin. If tails, this deck does nothing. Yeah, you definitely, if you play Beldam, you definitely want to play the first one. Metang, for 1 metal, bullet punch, 20 damage, flip 2 coins. This deck does 20 damage for each heads. Yeah, classic, flip a coin, deal more damage for heads. Yeah, Metagross is gonna be stage 2. It was from Metagross, obviously. Ability extend. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and you play Steven's Decision from your hand, your turn doesn't end. Let's take a look at the attack. Meteor Match, 60 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon's Meteor Match does 60 more damage. No. We will talk about Steven's Decision later. Ability Hard Body. This Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. And for 1 metal, 2 colorless, Silver Fist, 6 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon has an ability, this takes us 60 more damage. At least he's not the odd one, because every Regis, Switch Steel, Regirock, they're all bad. Interset. Now we have Jirachi Prism Star. You can't have more than 1 Prism Star card with the same name in your deck. If a Prism Star card would go to the discard pile, put it in the lost on its set. Obviously, classic rule. Ability, Wish Upon a Star. You can use the ability during your turn. If you take this card as a face-down prize card before you put it in your hand, and if you have room on your bench, play this Pokemon on your bench and take 1 more prize card. Pretty okay ability, but also very situational. 3 colorless, Stream of Destruction, 10 damage. This Pokemon is now asleep. At the end of your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon is knocked out. No, this card's pretty bad. Heatran, basic Pokemon. For 1 metal, Steelworks, you get the top 4 cards of your deck and attach any number of metal energies you find there to one of your Pokemon. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. It's okay. That's okay. And then for 1 metal, 3 colorless, armor tackle, 120 damage. This Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. I mean, if you play the card, you definitely want to play it for the first take, so yeah. I mean, it's nice energy acceleration for the Dawnwing stack in addition to Solgaleo Prism, so I guess it's okay. Then we have Solgaleo. Evolves from Cosmoem as well. Full metal body. If this Pokemon has a metal energy attached to it, it has no weakness. No. Yeah, the attack is also not good. 3, 2 metal, 1 colorless, rising dash, 130 damage. This damage isn't affected by resist. Something that I just noticed that actually we are not just missing the Sandygast from earlier. We're also missing Cosmog and Cosmoem in the set for now. Interesting. Celesteela. Moonraker for 4 colorless and 1 metal, 1/6 damage. If the total of both players' remaining prize cards is 6, this attack causes only 1 metal. This attack is actually pretty good. In a metal deck, this is definitely a one-off, because this can just take a cheap price. You just out of nowhere choice band 190 for 1 metal energy. So this is definitely a must in any like metal deck, but it's also very good in any beast ring deck, because beast energy deck, because beast energy plus choice band actually boosts the attack to 220. So I would call that pretty decent. Next up is Katana. 2 metal energy, Kamikaze, 40 damage. If your opponent has 6 plays remaining, this attack does 90 more damage. I mean, if this helps you to take, I mean, this. What annoys me is that it's 2 metal energy. Because if it would be only 1 energy, then it would be, of course, super good. But 2 metal energy. Let's say you put it down, attach a metal energy, then your opponent is just Lele, Guzma, DC, KOs it, and then he's not even at 6 price anymore. So, yeah, I mean, No, I don't see the card seeing play. Stakataka GX. Ability Ultra Wall. Any damage done to your Ultra Beasts by opponent's attacks reduced by 10. Definitely a pretty decent ability for Beast Box. 2 metal, 1 colorless. Gigaton Stamp, 120 damage. It's also an okay attack if you think about that. You have stuff like Beast Ring, Beast Energy, Choice Band and stuff to for energy extraction and damage boost. It's pretty good. And then for 2 metal and 1 colorless, Assembly GX, 50 plus damage. The attack does 50 more damage for each prize card you have taken. So very good to finish game. So it's pretty good card. Bagon. For 1 water, Rocket, during your opponent's next turn, damage done to this Pokemon from attack is reduced by 10. Classic basic attack. Another Bagon. For 1 fire energy and 1 colorless, Reckless Charge, 40 damage. This Pokemon does 10 damage to itself. Yeah, I mean, I would just say you always play this one, but you don't attack with it. I mean, you have the extra HP, and both attacks aren't really that good, so yeah, definitely makes sense. Shelgon. Also, yeah, just for 1 fire, 1 water, and Rage Blade, 30 plus damage. If opponent's any damage goes, just 50 more damage, so just another random stage 1. So let's take a look at Salamence. Salamence, Dragon, 150 HP. Ability, Dragon Wind, once during your turn. This Pokemon is the active Pokemon, you may switch one if you want bench Pokemon with the active Pokemon. And for 1 fire, 1 water, 2 colorless, Dragon Claw, 100 damage. If this Pokemon would have a good attack, the ability would be good, but the attack is bad, so the ability is bad, so the card is bad. Now we get to the nice stuff. First of all, we have Latias Prism Star. Dragon Mist, 30 damage. Attach a basic entity card from your discard pile to each of your benched Dragon Pokemon. Pretty good. Yep, what else can I say? Pretty good card. Actually, not even just pretty good, very good card. Especially in Rayquaza, which we will talk about in a second. Latios Prism Star. You can't have more than 1 Prism Star, yeah, as always. 2 colorless, Dragon Fleet, 50 times damage. This attack does 50 damage times the number of Dragon Evolution Pokemon in your in play. If there would be good Dragon Evolutions, aside from maybe Garchomp, this card had potential. But since like Rayquaza, Latias, they're all basics, so yeah, Latias is definitely way better than Latias. Next up, Rayquaza GX, like one of the most hyped cards from the set, or if not the most hyped cards. Ability, Stormy Winds. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Keep in mind, you don't have to discard energies, you just discard cards from your deck, and then you attach an energy. So even if you discard no energy, had energies in your discard before, you still attach them. And then for Grass, Lightning, Colorless, Dragon Beak, 30 damage times the amount of Grass and Lightning energies attached to your Pokemon. Pretty good. And then Tempest GX, discard your hand and draw 10 cards. What can I say? This is a good card, but we will have to see if it's actually able to live up to the hype. So yeah. So now to the normal type Pokemon. Colorless, Dragon Run, search your deck for up to 3 base Pokemon, put them on your bench, then shuffle your deck. If you put any Pokemon on your bench, you may switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Pretty good. There's like first time in ages that there's been a good like a good starting Pokemon that has an attack like this, because it's, especially after rotation, when Bridget is gone, this Pokemon is very good card. And then a sudden flash, 10 damage will be coin affects your opponent's active Pokemon's not paralyzed. So if you want, you can even in the later game, you can just try to stall a turn. So yeah, I like the card. Then Wingull, yeah, 1 colorless, 10 damage, just random Wingull. And then Pilipper, 120 damage, 120 HP for 1 colorless, firefighting, 30 damage. Discard all fire energies from your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay. And for 3 colorless, Water Pulse, 80 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Bad card. Next up, Slackoff. 1 colorless, Claw, 20 damage. Flip a coin if tails this deck does nothing. And 2 colorless, Slackoff, heal all damage from this Pokemon. This Pokemon can't attack you in your next turn. It's just a random basic. Vigoroth, 2 colorless, Fury Swipes, 20 times damage, flip 3 coins. This attack does 20 damage, times and more fats. And 3 colorless, rage, 20 plus damage. This attack does damage for each of damage counter on this Pokemon. Random stage 1. So let's see if Slugging is any good. Colorless, 160 HP. As long as this Pokemon is active from your opponent's Pokemon have no abilities. That's pretty okay. And then 3 colorless, critical move, 160 damage. Just got an energy attached to this Pokemon. This Pokemon can't attack you in the next turn. This is a... I mean... It's weird actually, because the card is pretty good, like especially the ability. But it has a very bad weakness, which is fighting. It's a stage 2, which is bad. So... It's like... My tendency is more to like saying the card is bad, but the ability just seems so powerful, so I guess we will have to find out. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Next up, Whismur. Shriek or Shrike, I don't know. For 1 colorless, you can use this attack only if you go second and only on your first turn. Your opponent can't play any train cards from the hand to your next turn. That's a pretty good attack. Didn't expect that. That's actually pretty good. Second Whismur does for... and also does for 1 DC 20 damage with Pound. Second Whismur is 3 colorless, 40 damage. Your opponent switch the active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Yeah, I would definitely play the first Whismur because Shriek seems pretty good. Loudred, 3 colorless, cracking voice, 60 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is not confused. Usually you want to, or you don't want to use it. And then Expert, let's see if it's any good. 3 colorless, Death Live, 80 damage. This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. Maybe with Tapu Koko. Could be heavy impact for colorless, 100 damage. I guess the card out of this line that has the most potential is like Whismur as a one-off tag in any deck to stall a turn. But then again, you have Neubert, for example, that discards item cards. So yeah, probably none of these will probably play. But this is actually, I like this. I like these cotton cards. They're nice. Next, Skitty, Fake Out, 10 damage, flip a coin, if your opponent's active Pokemon is not paralyzed. And Delcatty, Friend Search, when you play this card from your hand to evolve evolve a Pokemon during your turn, you may search your discard pile for 2 supporters, reveal and put them in your hand. This... Just had to take a sip. This attack is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good. This ability is actually pretty good. I like it. Might actually see play next season. And then 2 colorless, Cat Kick, 40 damage. Yeah, this is bad. So if you played for the ability. Next up we have Kecleon. And it's gonna be, for now, the last Pokemon. Then we get to the trainer cards. Unit color 2, or if this Pokemon has any unit energy, LPM attached to this Pokemon types become LPM. What I don't understand about this card is that it doesn't just say any unit energy card and that it applies any of these types, because then it would be actually pretty interesting, because you have 3 unit energy, so you can just change its type around. But yeah, as it's now, the card is bad. But now let's get to the interesting stuff. Item cards and supporter cards. Acrobike, look at the top cards of your deck, put one of them in your hand, discard the other card, just a reprint. Apricot Maker, supporter, search your deck for up to 2 item cards with ball in their name, show them to your opponent, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Depending on which deck you play, this card may actually be okay, because then you, especially after rotation, you could just use Lele for Apricot Maker for balls. But then again, you can also just use Fan Club next season. So we have to see. Then we have Beast Ball. Look at your face down prize cards. You may choose 1 Ultra Beast you find there, reveal it and put it in your hand, and then put this Beast Ball in its place. If you don't reveal an Ultra Beast card, put this card in your discard pile. Then shuffle your face down prize cards. I would have loved to see this card just search an Ultra Beast, because that would just be very good boost for Ultra Beast, but now it's just ways too situational and I really don't like the card. Next up, Builds Maintenance. If you have any card in your hand, shuffle one of them into your deck, then draw 3 cards. This is just the worst Tiano. Copycat, shuffle your hand in your deck, then draw a number of cards equal to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Reprint of Copycat. Pretty okay. Think it's gonna be seeing play next season when stuff like N and Sycamore rotate. And then Energy Recycler, search your discard pile for basic energy cards. You may either show one basic energy card to your opponent and put it in your hand, or show 3 energy cards and shuffle them into your deck. I mean, for both of these tasks you have better cards, so depending on your deck, if you want to shuffle or pick up, you just play a different card. So this is not going to see play because of Energy Retrieval and Energy Recycler. Then we have Energy Switch with, in my opinion, the best Energy Switch artwork that has been. So it's going to be nice to have the artwork back in Sun and Moon. Yeah, like Sun and Moon style. So yeah, Energy Switch, classic, move one basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon. We've seen the card time and time again. Then Fisherman, put 4 basic energy cards from your discard in your hand. Also another reprint. Friend Ball, also a reprint, but a reprint from a card that we haven't seen in a long time. Search your deck for Pokemon that's the same type as one of your opponent's Pokemon in play. Review it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. That's going to be a pretty good out to Lele next turn, because you next season, because your opponent will most of the time have Leles on their bench. So you can just search a Lele. But I think there's just going to be better stuff. But it's definitely an interesting card to keep your eyes on. So might see play. How reprint, draw 3 cards. For whatever reason, we get a reprint of this card. Then we have Haika. Look at the top 5 cards of either your deck or your opponent's deck and choose one card. Shuffle the remaining cards back in the deck, then put the card you choose on top of the deck. So you can manipulate your or your opponent's top decks with a supporter, which isn't good because it's a supporter card. Hustle Belt, Pokemon tool, attach one tool to a Pokemon that doesn't already have a Pokemon tool attached to it. If the remaining HP of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 30 or less, this attack does 30, its attacks to 30, what am I saying? Its attacks to 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now I got it. I think it's too situational. Unless you play Pokemon with 30 HP or less. Maybe. A Last Chance Potion, heal 120 damage from one of your opponent with 30 or less remaining HP. I mean, both of these cards are just very situational. Life Up, also reprint. Choose one of your Pokemon, remove all special condition and takes damage counters from that Pokemon. Also, you have to flip a coin. Yeah, it's... Nah, probably not. Lycia, search your deck for up to 2 prison cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, then search your... then shuffle your deck. I think the problem is that most decks only play 1 at most, so you search 1. But since most Prism cards are Pokemon anyways, you can use Ultra Ball and stuff. So you don't have to use a supporter card. So yeah, I don't think this card's gonna see play. Low Ball, flip 3 coins for each head, choose an evolution card from a discard, reveal it and put it into your hand. That's actually a pretty interesting ball. Definitely has potential. I mean, it's basically Timer Ball with 1 more flip, but from a discard, so pretty okay. Master Real, attach a basic energy from your hand to one of your stage 1 grass, fire or water Pokemon. I mean, maybe with Blazing, but probably not. Pokenuff, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may choose a Pokemon card or energy card, reveal it and put it in your hand. 3 cards just not enough. That's just way too few cards. So also, no. Rainbow Brush, search your deck for a basic energy card and switch it with an energy card attached to one of your Pokemon in play. Shuffle the switch energy cards in your deck. I mean, this only makes sense if you play more than 1 basic energy type, which rarely happens, so also most likely no. But maybe this opens up some new strategies that would be nice. Next, Rare Candy reprint. We all know Rare Candy, so I don't think I have to talk about it. Shrine of Punishments. Between turns, put 1 damage counter on each Pokemon GX and EX. Interesting. Definitely. Might see play. In, like, spread decks, for example. Scapula, all bench Pokemon aren't affected by damage or effects from attacks from opponent's Pokemon. So basically Mr. Mime as a stadium, like the bench barrier Mr. Mime, but that might be with Field Blower and other stadiums in the format, might just be not strong enough. So next up, Steven's Resolve. Search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck, your turn ends. So I want to talk about this card because I've seen a lot of people say stuff like, after rotation, we have Steven's Resolve. Steven's Resolve is so good. You search 3 cards from your deck. Oh, you have Metagross that makes Steven's Resolve even better. But let's face it. The card is bad. It's way too situational. You get punished by stuff like N. And if you have to play Metagross in your deck, you lose anyways because Metagross is a bad card. So Steven's Resolve is a bad card. So yeah, that's my opinion. Super Scoop Up, flip a coin. If heads, put your Pokemon and out cards, attach it into your hand. Classic. Then switch your form of one bench Pokemon, also classic. But what I really like about Super Scoop Up, Switch, Energy Switch, Rare Candy and stuff, they're all getting reprinted with one of their best artworks ever. That's what I really like. Tate and Lisa, choose one, shuffle your hand in your deck, then draw 5 cards, switch your active form of one of your bench Pokemon. Maybe as a one-off. I could see it as a one-off, especially now that Floatstone rotates as a switching option, aside from Guzma. Maybe. And also you have the option to shuffle and draw 5. Maybe. Might actually be a card. TV Reporter, draw 3 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. Worse how. Underground Expedition, look at the top 4 cards from the bottom of the deck, choose 2 cards and put them on your hand. Put the remaining card back on top of your deck in any order. Also not that good. And then Rainbow Energy reprint. Also a card we know. So do we have any other new cards? We have Shifty GX Full Art, we have Blazing GX Full Art, Cardicuno GX Full Art, Electro GX Full Art, Mr. Mime GX Full Art, Bennett GX Full Art, Skizzer GX Full Art, Stakataka GX Full Art, Rayquaza GX Full Art, Apricot Maker Full Art, Bill's Maintenance Full Art, Copycat Full Art, Lycia Full Art, Steven's Resolve Full Art, Tate and Lisa Full Art, TV Reporter Full Art, and Underground Expedition Full Art. So that's actually it for the set. But I'm pretty sure that Pokebeach is at least missing Cosmog, Cosmoem, and Sandygast, right? Let's just quickly take a look through if there's anything else missing. No, they're just 3 Prevolutions missing for some reason. Maybe they forgot them. Maybe they aren't actually in the set, because that wouldn't be the first time. I could see it definitely for stuff like Lunala and Solgaleo, because there are already a lot of Cosmogs and Cosmoems. But Sandygast, there aren't a lot of them. That's actually pretty interesting, but yeah, that's gonna be it for the set review. Sadly, there aren't a lot of very good cards. So the World's metagame is probably not going to change too much. I hope it does, because the current format is pretty boring. But yeah, if you're curious on which I think are the best 10 cards from the set, I will publish an article on our Limitless website later this week, where I talk about my top 10 cards from the set. And so if you want to know what I think are the best cards from the set, I will link it in the description once it's done, and it will also of course be on our Facebook page and stuff. So yeah, make sure to keep an eye out for this, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.